Morning, everybody. I'm afraid we're on the noisy side of the house today because it's a little drizzly and I have some pretty things I don't want to get wet. I don't care about getting wet, but my pretty things, gotta protect them. So, Chicago Pen Show is this weekend, and I always go to the Chicago Pen Show, but this year it just wasn't going to work out. I didn't have pet care. When I go, I like to go on Friday because it's not as busy, and even though I'm not really a trader, those are Thursday and Friday are trader days. It gets easier to talk to people, and it's not as crowded, jostling around. And if I want to get a pen worked on, I can usually get an appointment and all that kind of stuff. But that was not going to work. I had other things going on here in town, so I wasn't going to go. And then as the weekend wore on, I'm seeing reports from the show, and I'm thinking, man, there are a few people there that I just like to see. And so I ended up figuring out a way to get up there and spend at least a couple hours at the show. Fortunately for me, Sunday was not as busy as it usually is. I don't know how good that was for the sellers, but but it meant that I was able to, even in just 2 hours, see the people I most wanted to see and have some conversations with them, and that was really great. I'm always very keen to see the Grays from Edison Pen, and Sarge and Jazz. Sarge is the one-man pen show. He has the most spectacular table of pens that you're likely to ever see anywhere in your life. So if you ever go to a pen show, even if you're not in the market for a high-end pen, absolutely stop by Sarge's table and have a chat and have a look. And other people, it's always good to see Jonathan Brooks and Les Sheely and other folks. This particular time, I wanted to meet Clarissa from Snowy Pen Studio and just tell her how much I enjoy her posts. And she's also Leonardo's representative in this country, and as you know, I'm high on Leonardo pen, so I just wanted to get to know her a little bit. So I was able to achieve all those things. Didn't get much time with Les. That was too bad. Was able to achieve all those things in my short period of time, and yeah, guess what? I was able to spend some money too. Yeah. So I decided that two things. There were two things I wanted to get. Okay, that's a lie. There were three things. Okay, there were four things I wanted to get. Just four. And they weren't that expensive. The first was I wanted to get this limited edition Leonardo, or special edition Leonardo, for Atlas Pen Company. And I could order it online, but going there, I could look at, these kinds of materials are always quite varied. And if I went there, I could meet Clarissa and could also pick out exactly which one I wanted. And man, is that a beauty. So it's a Momento Zero, got an extra fine. It's just really cool colors going on in this pen. So very pleased with that. Haven't inked it up yet. So that was one thing I wanted to look for. And then I knew Papier Plume was going to be there, and Papier Plume has a number of things that interest me, and there were two that I was looking for in particular. One is they have this goop that when you do a wax seal, it's when you do a wax seal, you can take a little brush or a Q-tip or something, and sometimes when you do a wax seal, it's hard to actually see what the thing is in the seal. And with this, you can just lightly paint over it, and then what you do with the image in the seal really pops, and that's very cool. And this, these things are great, but they're not really worth paying shipping for. So getting that live and in person was cool. I also was keen at Papier Plume they have glass pens, another thing that I didn't, dipping pens, that I didn't really want to pay a shipping fee for. So I wanted to get a glass dipping pen, but I got there and they had these, which is, I suppose it's pewter, something. Anyway, it is a dip pen. I like dip. I don't use dip pens a lot, but I like it for when I'm doing ink samples or when I'm changing inks a lot and trying inks because they're easy to clean up. But I just thought that was cool. I like the weight of it. It's not vintage, but it looks vintage, and it's got coffee beans on it. So I thought, well, coffee beans are a good thing. Always got to be careful when you buy stuff like this to make sure it hasn't got a snake on it. Because, for some reason, pens and snakes seem to go together. People like snake pen stops and snake decorations and snake clips, and I hate snakes. So there we go. So I got that, and I got that. So I was looking, and while I was at the Papier Plume table, they also have wax seals and stamps and materials for doing that. Well, I got plenty of wax, and actually I have plenty of seals, but I'm getting a little bored with the seals that I have. So there was this. They had this lion. It's going to be backwards for you, and it's not my favorite image of a lion, but I do like it. So I grabbed that, and it's got a different kind of connector, so I had to get a handle for it, even though I have a bunch of handles at home. And then, well, anyway, I like horsies, and they had this horse seal, and I thought it might be fun to play with a rectangular seal. It's also one this is a very deep cut, so the horse is going to be raised quite a bit, and that dimensionality might be fun to play with. So I got those things from Papier Plume. Another thing I really like from Papier Plume is some of the note cards that they have, the Quo Vadis stuff. I think it's Quo Vadis. I gotta have more of this coffee. It's this particular paper. It's made by Exacompta, but I just placed a big order of that stuff for them because it comes in huge packs of 100 and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I got those things. The other thing I wanted to find was some ink nicks. Ink nicks is a compound that you can use to get ink off your fingers. It's a little bit gritty, probably got a bunch of alcohol in it, because the best thing for getting ink off your fingers is to wash your hair with shampoo, because you got the friction and the alcohol. But nobody had any ink nicks, at least nobody that I could see in my quick 2-hour tour, so that was weird. So I hate to turn to Amazon for a thing like that, but I bet you Indie Pen Dance has some that I can order. In any event, that's what I was looking for. Another thing that I wasn't exactly looking for, but I was going to look at is, and you've heard me talk about these before, these kind of pleather mats, from Toys from the Attic. There's a purple one. So now I have 4 of these. And you say, why would you need 4 of these? Well, I kind of don't, but I have one at my writing desk in the house. I have one that I take on my back deck. I have one that I use on a lap desk. And now I have one that I'm going to leave out here on the covered front desk. But they're not that expensive, $25, and they really are great to just put down a piece of paper and write, and it just lushifies the experience. So really happy to get another one of these, and purple's kind of my jam, so that was good. But here's the thing. I didn't spend too long looking at Edison's pens because I knew that if I looked very much, I would have to get 1 or 2, and I need to hold the line. And I have a lot of Edison pens, and they are I love them. I usually get one at every show, but I'm trying to get out of that mentality of getting something out of habit. Edison pens are always there. They're totally reliable. I can always order one online. So I don't need to buy one just because I'm at a show. But then I was at Sarge's table. Guys, girls, kids, folks, I got one of my big Grail pens. It's a pricey pen, but it's not a $5,000 pen. That's not a $5,000 pen for me is, which would be an LB5. A $5,000 pen for me is not a Grail pen. It's a you're dreaming pen. This is one that is just above what I feel comfortable spending on pens, but one that I know I'll cherish forever. And Sarge had one. Sarge had two. And I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist, yeah, because I've wanted one for a long time, but also because it was from Sarge, and he's my most enduring pen friend. Anyway, I got a Yardley Grand Victoria Viceroy. I feel teary-eyed. This is crazy. It's just a pen. A lot of reasons I wanted this. Yardley is a Yardley is an old brand, British brand. I don't have any Yardley pens. I think these are gorgeous. I haven't linked it yet, so I'm not going to talk about how it writes. I think they're gorgeous. These are hand engraved. Sterling silver, I'm a huge, even when I was a kid, I thought sterling silver was pretty. I don't have many pens that are valuable in and of themselves. Silly, but I mean, it's silly to think that way. But this is a pen that somebody in my family is going to want to keep when I'm gone, right? All of these gorgeous plastics, which I love, my family's not gonna, they might go, oh, pretty, I don't want it. But this is the kind of thing that you pass along, that's an heirloom. And the fact that I got it from Sarge makes it extra special. So they're hand engraved. I actually didn't care which pattern I got on one of these pens. There's a barley pattern, and this is the Grand Victoria, or the, Victory. There are 2 or 3 other patterns. Anyway, it wasn't, I didn't care as much which pattern it was. In fact, in some ways I like the barley, which is a little plainer. But I've just always wanted one, and the time was right. So I'll put some pictures in here later, but there's the lovely little hallmarks. Solid sterling silver. Nib is not all that impressive. It's just a nib, but and these are cartridge converter pens. So on the one hand, you think, well, expensive pens are supposed to have fancy filling systems. You know what? I'm totally fine with the cartridge converter. Totally fine. They're so easy to maintain, so easy to clean, that's totally cool with me. So, yeah, there it is. That's the big deal from the show. So, thanks for hanging in there. Sorry I haven't been doing very many videos. I've got 2 more lined up I think I can push out to you. Let you know a couple other things that I've gotten over the last 6 months. As I say, I'm slowing down on the pen buying, but I still love them. I still like to talk about them. So, y'all have a good week. Oh yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. It used to be when I went to pen shows, I would be very careful about what I put in my pockets. You gotta, yeah, because you'd walk around and people want to know what you have in your pockets. And I had a kind of a system for a while. Back when I was collecting vintage pens, I would always carry some Parker 51. Once I picked up my faceted, my matte faceted Vanishing Point from Mario at Toys in the Attic or Toys from the Attic, I would carry that just because that's the best travel pen on the planet. It's a cool pen, and VPs are just great for carrying around. And then I would generally carry some Waterman because I was a bigger Waterman collector, and whatever else I thought was cool and kind of wanted to show somebody. What's happened in the last few years, where I'm not collecting as much and I'm not collecting vintage, is I always carry a Leo because that's my jam these days, and I always carry an Edison pen because I love them and I want to show off their product as I'm walking around. And then I usually still carry the Vanishing Point. Well, this was kind of a last minute deal for me going, so I just took an Edison pen and a Leo. And I'll be showing that Leo in another video. But how you prep, people ask, what do I need to know before I go to a pen show? There's great stuff by Richard Binder and other people out there about your first pen show and how to prep. But I would say 4 things. 1, if you want to have any pens worked on, figure that out, line it up, and if you can make appointments ahead of time, do it. If not, get to the show first thing in the morning and get yourself on a list. So that's 1 thing. 2, I think it's helpful to write out a list of the things that you want to look for, and then know that list is going to become irrelevant as soon as you go to your first 2 tables. But make out a list. Think about it. Make out a budget for yourself, and then know that you're probably going to blow through that budget. If you have pens to trade, take them, so that you can help that budget part of it. The third is you need to take. Now you'll get. Usually at a pen show, you'll get some kind of bag when you get there. So you don't need to take a bag, but I like to have something over my shoulder. So, if I've got stuff I want to carry, my hands are free. Any bags that you get at the show are going to be carried around by the handles bags, and I like to have my hands free. So figure out a messenger bag or a large sling bag or something like that where you can put things as you buy them, I think. And then the 4th thing is you need to be wearing something that's got a pocket, and you need to figure out what pens you want to show off in your pocket, because it's a conversation starter for one thing, and people do go around looking at folks' pockets. What are you carrying? What you got going on? And it's part of the fun to say, yeah, look, I just got this, or man, I bought this a couple of years ago and I never go anywhere without it. That's part of the fun of these shows, is being able to talk to other people who are enthusiasts, because chances are most people are like me and everybody around them thinks they're nuts for buying pens. So you don't get a lot of chance to talk about your pens with the folks immediately around you. Pen shows are a great place to do that. So I just wanted to add that little bit about how I prep for a pen show, how I think you ought to prep for a pen show. But if you want to get more serious about this, Richard Binder has some great stuff on getting ready for your first pen show. See ya.